Thank you for joining us. This is the Top Producer webinar series. Before introducing our speaker, I have some details to share about the webinar. Every participant is in listen-only mode. If you have a question, please write it in the comment box, which you will find on the top right-hand side of your screen. I'm Andrew, the Greater DAOR Director of Communications. Today's speaker is Eloy Villamil. Eloy is a realtor with Remax Innovative and a top producer here at our association. Today's webinar is titled Social Media and Sphere of Influence. So without further ado, I introduce Greater DAOR Realtor and top producer, Eloy Villamil.
Hey everyone, good morning. Hope everyone is having a great morning today and it's ready to learn something. Just kind of wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. Started in real estate it's almost 11 years. It's going to be 11 years this year when I started in real estate. And one of the first things that was actually taught to me when I got into the business in sales, which it was before getting into real estate. So I got into sales when I was 19. And one of the things that was shared with me by one of my mentors was the ability to generate business within your sphere of influence. And so one of the things was that, you know, when I started in sales and I started selling life insurance at the age of 19, the first thing and the first time that I met with my mentor, he asked me to write down a list of customers, potential customers, people that I would know, what is called your sphere of influence. And so I had only been in the States for about 3 years. Got into the US when I was 16, and so I started in sales at 19, and I didn't have many people to communicate with. So I remember writing down my list, and the only people that I have in my list was my father, my brother, and my uncle. And so when I called them, they didn't want to give me an opportunity to share the business that I was into because they felt that I didn't know anything about the business. So there it goes. I had no sphere of influence, and I was into a business where I needed to make some sales. So what I'm about to show you is I want you guys to understand how important it is to work with the sphere of influence, not only because you are going to continuously receive business, but also because when you're working with your sphere of influence, number one, you can grow your sphere of influence. Number two, you can remain in business for as long as you want just by working your sphere of influence. So that's one of the things that we're going to tap into. The other thing is going to be social media marketing, and I'm also going to tell you the importance of working with social media marketing. So another good thing about the social media marketing is that I've been in business, like I mentioned, for almost 11 years. And what I can tell you about my career, I have never done any cold calling or I have never done any door knocking. So I'm not the typical realtor that, you know, those door knocking, cold calling, or any of that. When I got into the business, I was strictly working my sphere of influence, and then later on, I started working the internet leads. So let's move on. I'm going to show you the first. All right. Okay. So how to maximize your sphere of influence. And what's important is this: you need to understand that the connections that you make within the people and the business that you're closing, you want to remain somehow you want to remain in contact with these people. You know, one of the things that I do, I like to stay in contact with them via text message, mail. They also become part of my social media. So if I can add any of my past clients into my Facebook page or my Instagram page, I would also do that. And then at the same time, from time to time, I would contact what I call my A past clients. So what I would advise you as, you know, working with your sphere of influence, you want to subdivide your sphere of influence. You want to know who are going to be your top clients, and what I mean by top clients is going to be your fans, people that, you know, like working with you, but at the same time they are always talking about you within their friends, their peers, And when the conversation comes about purchasing a home, they're always going to mention your name and they're going to talk about you. So that's going to be your A pass clients. And then the second thing is going to be your B clients and your C clients. Your B clients is going to be people that refer you clients here and there. And then the C clients, it would probably be someone that is going to refer you a customer maybe every other year, or maybe every 2 years, or maybe every 3 years. But at the same time, you want to be in contact with all of them, because this is how your business is going to continue to grow, and you're going to be able to continue to generate the same amount of sales, and at the same time, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to scale your sales by working your sphere of influence. So let me go to the next part. So one of the things that was taught to me when I got into the business, my mentor mentioned this to me. He said, you know what, Eloy, it's going to be very difficult for you to go into the business because you don't have any hard market. So you have to build it up. You don't have any really close friends or relative friends. So the credibility that you have right now, in order for you to be able to make sales, it's going to be a little difficult because you don't have any credibility with anybody, and you're just new in the business, and you don't really have any sales experience. So you have to go out there and you got to go and generate the transactions with people that you don't even know. So he said, there's three kinds of markets. Market number one is what we call the hot market. And the hot market is anyone that knows you by name, or that you currently have a close relationship with. And that would be considered maybe a family, a friend, maybe people that you went to school with, your neighbors, someone that you have a close relationship with. That's going to be your hot market. Your warm market, it's going to be anyone that knows you either by sign, or someone that is like an acquaintance. Maybe it could be someone at the supermarket. Maybe the person that does your hair. Maybe the person that does your nails. Maybe they see you on a constant basis, but they don't really know what you do, or they don't really know your name, but they know who you are. So that's going to be your warm market. Now, the last thing is going to be your cold market. Cold market is people that don't know who you are, uh, people that are complete strangers. You have never met these people, so that's going to be your cold market. So what it was interested to me, when I discovered the three types of markets, was that um, my mentor said this: Eloy, if you are smart enough, and you are able to remain within the warm and the hot market, you should never be able, or you should never want to go into the cold market unless you want to grow your business at a bigger scale. And so, what I did for the first years of my career, I worked on growing my sphere of influence, generating a bigger database, um, and then I was able to scale within hot and warm market without having to tap too much into the cold market. Um, During the first few years of my career, I worked the first 2 years on growing in real estate when I got into the business, and that was during 2007 and 2008 when the market went down. Majority of my business came from meeting people on the streets, passing out my business cards, and then warming up those leads, connecting with people, and turning those people into hot and warm market, and being able to get referrals from them. So let me show you how that kind of works. So just to kind of show you here the example. Um, if you guys are looking here at Jesse, Jesse is just a regular person. Let's say someone in the business. Um, if you were to show, if I was to show it to you here, so Jesse is it's an agent in the business, right? Um, and let's just say Hugo here, it's going to be considered cold market to Jesse because this guy is out of the diagram. He's out of the sphere. So he's going to be considered cold market to her. Now, any close friends to Jesse are going to be considered warm hot market. So you have Brenda here. Brenda's a really good friend of Jesse. So Brenda is going to be considered hot market to Jesse. But at the same time, any friends that Brenda has here that are going to be hot market to Brenda, automatically these friends are going to be warm market to Jesse. So what I was taught in the business was that um, one of the things that we wanted to do, we wanted to remain within the hot market and remain within the warm market. So how you do that is your close friends and the friends of your friends. Technically, what you want to do is this warm market here, you want to turn it into hot market. Because just like the same way that Brenda has friends that are close to her, that she has a good relationship with, these other people are going to know maybe another 10 people that you don't know. And these other 10 people are going to be warm market to this hot market here. And so basically when you're working it within the network and you're doing it right, you want these people that you're selling to or you're helping purchase a home from, you want them to introduce you to their friends because their friends might have the need, not, and it might not happen today, but if you put them into your drift campaigns or if you put them into your contact list and you call them from time to time, um, you are going to be able to grow that sphere of influence. So that's how you grow your sphere of influence. That's like the just in a little glance part. That's how you want to stay connected with them. And then, like I mentioned before, as you continue to grow your sphere of influence, find a way to connect with them in a consistent basis every month. So one of the things that I do, once again, just to kind of give you a reminder, I text them, I email them, I send postcards to them every single month, and I also call them. I don't call everybody every month, but what the people that I do call is going to be the A pass clients. Those are the clients that you want to contact every month. The rest of your clients, maybe you want to contact them every other month. So just to kind of give you an idea on how to stay connected with them. Uh, the next part that we're going to do is we're going to go into the digital marketing. Let's go back one.
Okay.
So let's go into the digital marketing and why is it so important for real estate. So all right, so let me show you. So according to Forbes, 80 to 90% of consumers research and they purchase online before actually buying. So they're gonna go online and they're gonna Google something or they're gonna go on Facebook and they're gonna start looking online before they actually decide to purchase something. They're going to make a research. They're going to find out, what's the cost. So I don't know if you guys have noticed now, but when you're representing a buyer or when you're representing a seller, they're a little bit more knowledgeable on regards to what's going on in the transaction. And the reason why is because they're going to Wikipedia or they go to Google or, they find, whatever source they're able to gain as much information as they could. So one of the things that you want to do is you also want to be part of that. Some people go to YouTube. They find videos on YouTube, and there's people that are teaching them how to sell their home, how to buy a home, different videos. So I think it's important for everyone to stay somehow have a presence online. So the consumers are already waiting for you to show up. There's already people that are, every single day they're utilizing these search engines. So there's 3.5 billion searchers on Gmail, 2 billion users on Facebook, 1.5 billion users on YouTube, 1.2 billion users on Messenger, 700 million users on Instagram. So if you know that you already have consumers there, the only thing that you got to do is you got to get smart and you got to find out how is it that you're going to be able to tap into these consumers. What are some of the things that are that are going to be interesting for them? So you got to know the interest that they have and you got to know how to capture them based on what they're looking for. So kind of going to talk a little bit about that so you guys can kind of get an idea. I'm not going to go very detailed into how to do it. We could probably do, maybe something else later on where I can kind of like show step by step if people are really interested in knowing more.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is this, users want to talk about your brand. So you got to give them a reason. And I don't know if you know, but when you do have or you do see a new brand, or someone doing a good job, or something happening on Facebook or social media, everybody starts kind of like commenting and messaging and um, talking about it. So Instagram, 39% of the people on Instagram are going to follow a brand. 31% uh, are going to tag a brand, and 49% have like a brand content. So it is important that they know who the brand is, and who the company is, because the more they know the company, the more they're going to talk about it. So if you are working for like a recognized brand, a brand that has a name, you want to make sure that they're actually noticing that you are somehow connected with this brand. There's a lot of people that I see that they work for big companies, big recognized companies with a very good brand name, and they switch the logo, and now they're marketing their own personal logo. That's okay, that's fine. But if you're working with a name brand company and it's a big company, what you want to do is you also want to let the consumer know that you're working for them, because for some consumers, working for a big recognized brand is a big deal, and that would be one of the reasons they might want to do business with you. So that is important. Facebook, 58% have liked a brand, 42% have mentioned a brand, and 41% have shared content about a brand. So just to kind of give you some statistics right there, and just for you guys to know why is it important to be associated with a name recognized brand, and how is it that the consumer is looking at it. So let me go into the next part. So having clients is nice, right? And everybody wants to have clients. So what if you can have clients already lining up, ready to do business with you and ready to execute a transaction? Um, what is very nice about the social media integration and the way that you market online is that you can actually target specifically to a specific group of people, and that would be within demographics and geographically, and you can look, based on the income that they're making, the age group. So if you really have a define and find out a persona of your actual customer, the customer that you're going to be working with. For me, typically when it comes to identifying a buyer, we look for people that are between 25 and 35, married with kids, and that are making at least an income of $75,000. So that's going to be or a specific targeting. The reason why is because we have done some researches, and we find out that these are the actual people that are purchasing homes today. So that's who we want to target. We don't want just anybody to see the advertisements that we have. Although some people are going to share it, and there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to get to see it. But when it comes to a specific targeting, you want to know who you're targeting to. So that's kind of like a little tip right there for you guys. Now, digital marketing is the answer. How can I get more clients? How do you get more clients? So, what's digital marketing? Digital marketing is, it's many things that are actually happening out there. So you have what is called CEM. You have the branding, social media, the SEO. You have the content marketing, video production, the web designing, the email marketing, the text marketing. Photography is actually really good. And then another thing that you want to do is you want to integrate all this together with your sphere of influence. That's going to be your SOI. So somehow you can bring your past clients and customers, if they have a Facebook or Instagram or maybe a YouTube account, you want to connect them with you, because this is the way that you're always going to be in front of them. And the beautiful thing about digital marketing is that you're not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. I remember when people used to be on TV, right? And in order for you to be able to go on TV, you would have to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right now, in days, you have a camera, you can go live, and you technically going on TV. Like everybody gets to see what you're doing, right? So that is the nice thing about it. So I guess one of the things is you guys have to get involved and connected with digital marketing somehow, because the bottom line is that digital marketing is already here and it's here to stay. And I can tell you one thing. I remember back in the days when I started using social media marketing, and when I started investing and sharing on Facebook. I started doing it back then in 2010. And I remember when I started doing it, a lot of people were saying, well, social media is never going to work. Facebook is never going to work. You're never going to get customers from Facebook, uh, stuff like that. Last year we were able to generate over $1 million in gross commissions just off of, some of the staff that I'm, talking to everyone here. So it is something that is it's working, and it definitely works. How does it work? How does the system work? So this is what I can tell you. Um, you're going to have the ability to work with your sphere of influence, display different ads. Um, you're going to refer people to different links, uh, your social media, your postings, your website. You're going to have different landing pages. So that's one of the things that I recommend. Create different landing pages for different purposes. If you want to talk about like 0% down payment, you want to have a landing page about 0% down payment. If you want to talk about the benefits of selling the house with you, then you want to have a specific landing page for that. If you want to talk about maybe the VA loan, you want to have a landing page for the VA loan. If you want to talk about maybe programs that are out there for self-employed, you want to have a specific landing page for that, where you provide enough information. Maybe you don't give them the whole uh, enchilada, like they say. You don't give them all the information, but you give them enough so they can leave their info there, so you can call them and follow up with them. This is the way that you start generating traffic and generating clients. You want to do email marketing and text marketing. Now, you also, with the traffic that you're gaining, you want to have something that is going to convert and optimize the customers and everyone that is coming in. So you have to have what are called sales funnels. And what the sales funnels are going to do for you are going to help you stay in contact with these customers until the customers are ready to execute. So uh, I don't want to lie to you, and I don't want to tell you, hey, these customers are going to come in and they're going to be ready, and you're going to have a client that is going to purchase right away. It might not happen right away, but if you work the sales funnels correctly, these people that are coming in, the traffic that is coming in, and you staying connecting with them, they're going to turn into buyers at one point. So let me go to the next part.
Okay. Let me help you with that. Okay. One question before we go on.
Sure.
I just wanted to ask, well, we wanted to ask more about the email marketing and the text marketing. How often do you send out an email, every month or every couple weeks? Or how often do you send out a text message? And also regarding the website, do you update the website, often, very often? Is that something that you do on a daily
Yeah, so
basis?
so not on a daily basis. So if you have a website, you kind of want to have there what you sell, right? So I mean, it's kind of like having a store online. So if you have a store online, from time to time, if you're walking into the store, and just kind of like give you an example, if you were to go to Walmart, right? You walk into Walmart, how often do they change the shelves? I mean, they're pretty much always in the same location, right? And they guide you and they tell you, okay, if you're looking for this, it's going to be on aisle 19 or in aisle 17. And they only do it maybe on seasonal time, when it's like Christmas, or maybe when it's like the 4th of July. So that's kind of what you want to do. You want to think of your page as being a store. So this is my store. This is where people are coming in, right? And if I'm going to be changing things, I just kind of want to change it. Maybe for Mother Days, I want to change the maybe the front page of it, and I just kind of want to leave a message for if the mothers are coming in, Happy Mother's Day. If it's for Veteran Day, then maybe you just want to leave a little note right there. But you don't want to change the whole thing. You kind of want to use the same exact thing all the time. And obviously, because if you're the one that you're doing it on your own, you don't want to spend your whole time into working these things. You want these things to work for you. You want everything working for you. So in essence, what you want to do is you want to set it up to a point where everything is automated, and a point where you're not like spending majority of your time working on the website, and working on sending the emails, or working into sending the text. You want to set it up in a way that is going to be uh, automated. So for new customers, if the customers are coming in, what you want to do is within your page, you want to have a CRM. So the CRM is going to do all the work for you. In other words, you're going to set up every client that comes in. You want to set up the CRM to follow up via email with that customer for the next year. So once the client comes in, you're going to try to call them, and if they're not ready, you're going to leave them in the drift campaign. And what's going to happen is that the email campaign is going to do the follow up for you for 1 year, and then you do the same thing via text. So you set everyone into drift campaigns. So then in reality, you're only doing it once. You're only doing it once. Once you've done it once, you don't have to come back and redo it again.
Mhm.
You can come back and change maybe the messages if you believe that for whatever reason they're not giving you enough results. But you shouldn't be spending your whole day every day redesigning and redoing things. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
So,
makes a lot
so
of sense.
yeah, so that's kind of how you want to make it work.
Okay. And when you actually do the campaign, do you spend a lot of time just at one time thinking about like what goes into it? Or is it more like you just kind of put the main things in there real quick and then set it up and there it
Yeah,
is?
so
Yeah.
that's technically what you want to do. You just want to like if you're going to set up the campaign, depending on what the specifics of the campaign are going to be
Hmm.
for, that you just set it up once. Maybe you spend I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours setting it up, and then that's it. You don't have to come back into redesigning that campaign. So what you want to do is you want to have all the content ready, input it into the email campaign, and then you're going to do what is called the drift campaign. So there's a lot of companies that there's a lot of CRM companies that they even already have like all the templates. So if you're going to be sending let's just say, I don't know, maybe 32 or 40 or 45 emails throughout the year, this companies already provide you with the templates. So all you got to do is customize the template to maybe the words that you typically use, or maybe add your name, your signature, and that's it. You're good to go. So I mean, I'm not telling everyone spend your time here. This is where you want to spend 100% of your time. No, what you want to do is you want to optimize everything, and you want to set it up in a way that is going to be working with you without you having to be there physically every single day. So that's the beautiful thing about the system, that once you tell the system what the system has to do for you, you don't have to come back and tell them again.
Hmm.
So that's so
Hmm. So in a
so
sense, overall,
yeah.
basically you want everything to work for you so you can do all the other things that you need to get to.
Well, technically, you know what? In reality, in real estate, there's four things that you're supposed to be doing that are going to make you money, right? So number one is going to be prospecting. Number two is going to be follow up. Number three is going to be appointments and negotiating contracts. Now, if you can spend majority of your time into maybe doing 50% follow up, and then being at appointments and negotiating contracts, you don't have to spend majority of your time in generating leads. And so that's the reason why you want to have the integration here on social media, because social media can give you a good portion of what your business is going to be. And I'm not saying spend all the time in social media, spend all the time on online, just work the leads online. What I'm saying is make it a part of your business. Work. I mean, if you want to work open houses, and then you want to work your sphere of influence, and then you want to make social media another portion of your business, then now you have three systems that are working for you. That's what essentially that's going to do for you. It's going to give you the ability to increase your business. But now if you go and spend all your time into the social media part, then you're going to lose some of the ends here. You're not going to be spending time into marketing to your sphere of influence, and you're not going to be spending enough time into doing your open houses. So
Mhm.
technically, what you want to do is you want to create different systems that are going to work automatically, in order for you to stay connected with, your clients. Um, and then with the world, with social media, you want to target it specifically into those consumers, those clients that are ready to buy, and those consumers that are ready to sell.
Mhm.
Right. So in essence, what you want to do is you want to have a website, and you want to have your website, and your website is going to be connected with, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So essentially, what would happen here, if you're doing postings on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, videos, whatever is videos or an advertisement or something like that, whenever somebody comes and they leave the information on a lead capture type of system, what the system is going to do is going to send it into your website, which is basically your CRM. Now, once they're in your CRM, that's where everything starts here. Your campaigns are going to start working for you. At the same time, if you're using AdWords, which is going to be more like Facebook advertisement, it works the same way. So whatever, if they're going into your landing pages and they're requesting information about, I want to know more about this program, or I want to know about how to sell in my house, that lead is going to go into your CRM, into that website that you already have. From here, what the website is going to do is it's going to go and integrate the call to actions. So let's just say, just to kind of give you an example, right? Uh, the first call to action that you want to do is you want to send an email to the client, right? So they're going to receive an instant email, and then they're going to follow up within 24 hours with another email. Within 7 days, they'll get another email, 14 days, 30 days, and then so on, right? And then constantly you're going to stay in contact with them, and they'll probably receive a weekly email after that. But the system is already doing it. You don't have to, once you set up the system is going to do it automatically for you. You don't have to come back and then, you know what, I have 200 customers, I got to send the email today. So that's the beautiful part about this, the integration of everything. Once you already have it set up, whatever customers you're gaining and are coming in, you're going to stay in contact with them. And so technically what you're doing through here is you're warming those customers until they turn into a hot market. And that's kind of why at the beginning I wanted to show, what the warm market and the hot market are. Because if these people become your followers and either one of these sites, and they get to like you and they get to see what you're doing, they're going to want to become your customers. And some of these people might not be ready today. They might be ready maybe in a year or 2 years. Sometimes I get customers that call me and they tell me, you know what, Eloy, I've been following you on Facebook for the past 2 years. And then why haven't you contacted me? Because I think I wasn't, I was thinking that I wasn't ready. Or some people, would be following me for, like 2, 3 months, right? And so what made you call me? Oh, because I saw that you help other families, and so I wanted to connect with you, and I wanted to see if you can help me out. And not majority of the time they might not be ready, but what you want to do is you want to educate them. And these are going to be potential customers for you that are going to come back maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, right? But the more people that get to know who you are, the more people that you get talking about you and your services and your product, the more potential customers that you're going to have in the future. And so that's the way that I see it. That's the way that we're being using the social media towards our favor. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Now, how do you target, right? Because that's probably the question that a lot of people have. What are the different ways to target the consumer? So you can either do it based on the interest. So whatever they're interested in, you can go after that interest. Uh, you can also do what is called vertical targeting. You can also do what is called retargeting. Retargeting is going to be clients that already came to your site, people that already like what you do, right? And the good thing about it is that because they already like what you're doing and they already like what they're seeing, most likely their friends are going to have and share the same interests. So that's the reason why you want to do the retargeting. So you can get to share information with them, and then at the same time they can get to share information with their friends. And it goes back to like the same networking kind of part of things, working their sphere of influence. You can also do what is called geographic targeting. And geographic targeting is going to be more like, you know, doing sort of like a radius type of thing. And anybody that comes into that radius, and let's say that you're targeting geographically on Facebook. So anyone that is within that radius and has the interest of your service or your business, what's going to happen is that they're going to receive um, they're gonna be able to see the sponsor ads. So I don't know if you ever seen that the sponsor ads that come out.
Mm-hmm.
So not only that, but what happens with the geographic type of targeting is that once you go into the ad and and people are seeing the sponsor ad, once they click once, I don't know if you have noticed, but there's a lot of times that you go into the next page. Let's just say that you go into I mean, you're not on Facebook anymore, right? You go into and you do a Google research, and you might go into a different page where now you're looking at the news, and the next thing that you see is on the right side, you're looking again into the stuff that you saw on Facebook. I don't know if that ever happened to you. So that's you see the same ad that you saw on Facebook, and you're like, how did that happen? How is this same ad following me? So a lot of times, sometimes people say this. They're like, what? I saw you on Facebook, and then I went, to check my email, and I saw you next to my email, and then I was reading, some news, and I saw you again, and I said, this might be a sign. I gotta call this guy. And so a lot of times people don't understand how it works, right? But the bottom line is that the reality is that if you stay in front of people and people want to do something, most likely when you show up at the right time, they're going to contact you. And so that's the reason why you want to use this, type of targets, because uh, this is a way that you're going to stay in front of clients when they need you. The other way that you can do is what is called a lookalike, which is basically, once you have done a research and once you have connected with a certain amount of people, uh, you can kind of, find out exactly what kind of consumer came through that ad posting that you generated, and then you can create another one similar. Now, what the other one is going to do is that it's not going to retarget to those specific people that you already target. It's going to look for new people that are within the similar criteria of this ones that were targeted before. And so now you're targeting a specific crowd that you already know that they could potentially wanted to know about your business. And so, but it's not going to be the same people that you had before. So that's what the lookalike type of targeting is. And then you have what is called the extended demographic targeting, which I don't use that a lot, but sometimes it kind of works if you want to go out of your area for whatever reason, and you want to target to other demographic places. So just to kind of tap into a little bit, give you some examples. You have on Facebook what is called the Facebook ads, regular ads, and then you also have what is called a canvas. What I like about the canvas is that you're able to connect it to your site. And so when people go and look into your stuff, at the same time that they're reading or they're looking at about something that you posted or a sponsor, they're going to be able to see your website on the bottom. So they might be reading something about your company or something catchy that you wrote, or maybe looking at a video, and at the same time, right on the bottom, they're going to be able to see your website. So that's something very interesting that Facebook recently came out with, and I don't really see a lot of companies, a lot of people using it actually. I typically see like the bigger companies that are using it. But I would like to see maybe more of uh, the real estate companies in the area, kind of take advantage of that. So that would be a good tool for everyone to have. Instagram ads, that's another thing. And what I want to say about Instagram lately, I'm starting to get a lot more results as compared to before. Before Facebook was more like the thing. Now, for whatever reason, there's more people um, that are actually coming to Instagram. So if anybody is using the Instagram account or whatever the case would be, I would say, continue using it because there's, it's gaining a lot of, it's actually getting a lot of results right now, especially for our business.
Mhm.
Um, use professional video if you could. If you don't have like the fancy cameras or anything like that, uh, your cell phone nowadays has a very good camera. So
Mhm.
I would say stay in front of your clients. Do some video, get people to get to know who you are. Because at the end of the day, people like to do business with people that they know. And a lot of times if they get to know you online, right, before you actually meet them in person, there's a lot of times that I see that with clients, and they feel like they had already had a relationship with me for months or years, right? Because they seen me on social media and they seen me interact with customers, and so they like that. So you want to stay connected with them somehow. That would be an advice that I can give. The other thing that I want to say is have a website that is responsive, meaning that if you get the consumer to come into the site, you want your website to be integrated in a way that it's going to respond right away. And so for us at Remax, we have a beautiful site, and when people come in and they sign up, we can connect it with the CRM, and the CRM can do the rest of the work that I mentioned earlier for everybody. And also one of the things that is helping me a lot right now when it comes to the listings. One of the things that I do is I send my digital introduction. So whenever I get a client that calls me and they tell me, Eloy, why should I hire you? Why should I work with you instead of going with the competition that maybe is going to charge me less, or maybe it's going to do maybe it's someone that they refer me that I want to contact, for whatever reason, right? So what I do is I have a digital presentation and I send it to them via text. And I just, send it to them via text and tell them, look, this is the reason why you should hire me. And so they can get their phone and they can glance through the presentation, and the presentation is technically already selling myself. And one of the things that I tell them, and I always ask them, look, if somebody uh, can send you something similar to this, and they have the same statistics that I have when it comes to selling the house, um, then it's good. Maybe you want to make the decision to hire them or hire me, right? But at least what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to send something of value, and people are visual. Everyone is visual nowadays. They like to see what you're done and the clients that you have helped, and they also want to know how you're going to help. So that's what I have put into the presentation, and that's how we're been gaining some of our customers when it comes to them asking about, hey, why should I hire you as my agent? So that's pretty much the end of the presentation. So I know it was maybe a lot of information for some people, and if they have some questions, we can go over the questions.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and everybody at this time, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask Eloy. If you have any questions, there should be a box on the top right hand side where you can type in questions, and we'll go ahead and take questions now. For the first question, um, we just want to ask, how much do you usually spend on marketing on a monthly basis? And then another question is, what percentage of your income do you invest back into your business?
Okay.
Like on a general sense.
Right. So that yeah, that's a very good question. So uh, it's kind of, it would give you the same answer. So what I do is about 10% of whatever I gross, whatever we gross in the business, we're going to reinvest 10% of that. So right now, last year we made gross commissions a little bit over $1 million. So we're looking at about $8,000 a month that we're reinvesting back into the business. Um, and one of the things that I tell everybody, that should be something that you want to do on a consistent basis. Um, For every commission that you close, you want to at least put away 10% and reinvest it back into your business. Now, if you want to see your business grow even more, then what you want to do is you want to inject even more money into the business so you're able to see the growth.
Mm-hmm.
But at a minimum, you want to invest at least 10%. One of the mistakes that I see a lot of the real estate agents do when it comes to their business is that they they make $100,000, but they don't want to reinvest anything into their business. And sometimes that's part of the reason why they never go into a higher amount of money or making more, because the way that they're seeing it is that they're seeing their business as a job. They're not seeing it as a business. So anytime that you have a business, you have to reinvest back into it.
Okay. We have another question. It's a quick question. It says, what CRM do you use?
So the CRM that I actually have two CRMs. Uh, One that I've had ever since I got into the business, and it's called Top Producer. Very inexpensive. I paid $35 for that one, um, and that's the reason why I decided to keep it, because technically I don't pay a lot of money for it, and that's where I keep every single customer that I have closed in my whole career goes into the Top Producer. And then I used another CRM that is called Real Gigs. So Real Gigs, I use that for any client uh, that comes in that I need to do some sort of follow up with, because the system automatically does it. It automated. It has everything automated. So every new client that I get, or every new client that comes into the site, I enter them into the Real Gigs, and then the Real Gigs is going to help me with the follow up.
Okay. All right. We got another question.
Sure.
Um, 1 second. So as you start to advance, as you start to get bigger as a company, as a brand, do you actually start hiring people, assistants? When do you recommend to start doing that? Are you doing it as of right now?
Yeah. So that is actually a very good question. One of the things that I tell people is this: look, if obviously if you want to run your business as a company, you have to have employees, right? So you have to have a staff. Why? Because you're not going to be able to break yourself into 100 pieces, and you're not going to be able to do everything on your own. When should you do your first hire? I tell everybody, the first hire you should do is when you're making $100,000, because in order for you to get to 200 or $300,000, you have to have an assistant. Now, I'm not saying go and hire another agent or go and build a team now, because you're not ready yet. You don't really want to start building a team until you're closing at least 45 to 50 transactions, because then at that point, uh, 40, 50 transactions, and if you start gaining more business, you're going to be able to have maybe a buyer's agent work with you at that point, and you're going to be able to distribute business to them. But if you're technically in the business for 1 or 2 years, you're closing 10 transactions a year. You don't want to bring anyone into your team, because in reality you don't have anything of value to share with them. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at the point that I am right now, um, I don't work with buyers anymore. So all the buyer leads that I get, they get distributed within my team. So that's the reason why it makes sense for me to have a team, because everybody that I have working with me, they work the leads. And then at the same time, they have the ability to work their own leads. So that's kind of how we're gaining market share, and at the same time, that's kind of how we're growing the team. But that might not be for everybody. And I would say don't go into building a team until you actually have the need of building the team, and that's because you already have enough transactions coming in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We got a couple more questions. So the next question is, when you present yourself on social media, do you ever like post up videos on Facebook or Instagram of yourself, kind of introducing yourself? Because you did mention, you want to let people get to know you through the social media and
Right.
stuff like that. Is there ever videos where you just kind of say like Merry Christmas or presenting yourself, how do you, in a sense, present yourself and let them get to know you through social media?
Right. So that is actually a very good question. Because at the end of the day, look, you know what, the image that you want to send out is your business image. So if you want the public to get to know you, you want the public to get to know your business side of the business. You don't want them to get to know. Uh,
Personal side.
I don't want to say personal, maybe a little bit of your personal side, because then you if you don't show any of your personal side, then you're not human, right? But then at the same time, you don't want to show 80% of your personal side and very little of the business, because at the end of the day, the reason why people want to hire you is because they see you as the professional, right? I mean, it's like, think about it. You want to hire, let's just say, a fitness coach, right? If you hire a fitness coach and all you're seeing on his social media is that he's going out eating something that he's not supposed to eat, right? And drinking something that he's not supposed to drink, right? With his friends, right? What is the image that you're going to get?
It's a bad image.
It's a bad image. Are you going to be wanting to have this person as your fitness coach? Maybe no, right? But if he's in the type of business that he is, maybe he's doing educational videos where he's talking about, maybe this should be the diet that you have. Maybe he's doing videos with exercises, right? So when it comes to real estate, the type of way that you want to stay connected with customers is like, I'm going to be doing an open house. So maybe you want to showcase the way that you're doing the open house. You want to show the house. That shows that you're in business, right? Maybe you are in a room with some customers, right? And they're, signing documents for their home. Or maybe you go out and you're going to do the home inspection. Or maybe you're going to go out and you're going to be at the appraisal inspection, right? So that shows the type of business that you're doing, and it shows that you're doing your job. Maybe you want to give some tips about, this is the programs that we have available. This is how the program works. So stuff like that, that's the stuff that is going to connect you with people. Maybe here, from here, and there, if you go to the park with your kids, maybe you want to show a little bit of that because that's your personal side of it. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to just make it about your personal side of the business. I mean, side of the actual personal part of it. You actually want to make it business.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to help you gain customers and make money, and it's what is going to display you and show you as the professional that they want to work with. Because at the end of the day, people want to work with a professional person. The other day I actually got a call from a client, right? And this is a lady that wanted to list her property, and so she tells me, oh, I'm currently working with so and so, and I go, well, let me ask you something. What's happening? She's like, well, I don't, he came to the house, gave me a presentation, but I want to look for someone else. And I go, how long have you known this person? He's like, well, I kind of know him for a few years, and he's kind of like a friend of the family, but I want to give the business to somebody more professional. And I go, so why do you think is that? I go, why do you see this person as, maybe not as professional as you want to have someone to work with you? And he says, well, I kind of know he's party side. Like, when we go out with the friends and everything and the stuff that he does when he gets drunk and all that. And she goes like, I don't really feel comfortable with that. So I'd rather have someone else that, has a more professional image like yourself. And so, if you guys are in real estate, maybe, use this as a good example for, the way that you present yourself, especially with your customers.
And that goes back into the personal side. Like, you definitely don't want to show too much of your personal side and make your image, in a sense, bad.
Right.
Yeah, you always want to keep that professional look.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we'll go into one more question, and then we'll start wrapping it up. If you have any last minute ideas to share with them, you can share. But we'll just go with this last question. So you mentioned a digital presentation.
Right.
We just wanted to kind of know what does that consist of exactly? Is it a video, a PowerPoint, something that kind of introduces you? Do you kind of give educational stuff or information you can
Right.
say, in that actual presentation? What exactly does it
Yeah.
consist of?
So it's more like a JPEG type of presentation. So you obviously we don't want to send um, like a PowerPoint, because in order for them to open it, they would have to have a PowerPoint. So not everybody has a PowerPoint. So the way that we did it is we made it. It's kind of I'm sure you've seen those little videos that have all they have is image and music. That's kind of what we have. That's the presentation that we have. So when we send it via text, anyone can look at it. So you receive it via text, you can open it on your phone and look at it right away. Because what you want to do is you want to simplify it for the customer. You don't want to send a link and then they're going to gotta go into the link, go into the next part. The way that I see it is, if I can send something simplified and they can just click on it and they'll be able to see everything that is going through it and read through it, it makes it a lot simpler for them. So when I send a digital presentation, it's just who I am, how long I've been in the business, mainly things about my background and my career, the transactions that we have done within the year, and some testimonials, and then how is it that we're able to help them.
Okay.
And that's technically, and then we just put some statistics on regards to what we do, and then the reason why you should hire us. So it's just very very simple type of slide, but I think it helps a lot, because once they see that, they're able to understand more what we're going to do for them.
Okay. Yeah, so to recap, in a sense, it's quick and it's catchy, something that they can access easily. It's a JPEG, something that everybody will be able to see. And in a sense, just it's very productive. It's very efficient.